You can't turn the phone while recording? I don't want to rotate my phone. Hey guys, it's Nat from Twiniversity. Am I sideways? That's the first question that I have for you. Are you, if you're there right now, write in the comments if I am sideways. I think I may be sideways. Do you see me sideways? Rebecca, since you are, or Becca, I apologize. Becca, since you are the first one here, do you see me sideways? Yep, so I'm sideways. So now I gotta do this. Ugh, it's always something, guys. But this is the best part about lives, isn't it? I suppose. All right, hold on. I'll get it. We're gonna do this live. So just giving you a background of what's been happening. How do you like that? I think I'm going to log out and then log back in. Is washing. Oh my gosh, I can't turn this sideways. What else is new? Oh my gosh, guys. I'm logging out and then I'm logging back in, and that's what's gonna happen. And then I'm gonna have this sideways. But, oh wait, no, am I good like this? Don't you just love live? I guess I could just leave myself like this. You know, Julie and I were talking earlier today. I'm going to be jumping around for 2 minutes. But Julie and I were talking earlier today about this spice mix that I'm obsessed with. And I'm so happy that it's on my desk, because that's what I'm going to use right now to hold myself live. Isn't that crazy? Look, I did it. And Julie, I'm using the spice mix. I'm so excited. Well, thank you for bearing with me. Today, I am very, very excited to be joined by my good friend Kelly from the JPMA. I am going to try to figure out how to invite her onto this. Let me find her. Oh my gosh. Guys, it's taking a turn. I have Laura, Becca. I gotta wait for Kelly to join in. And then we were doing this through Zoom, and then things weren't working out for us. So do you guys love the behind the scenes action of Twiniversity? Because that's what happens. Kelly, if you're there, do something like a smiley face or like a heart or something, because we have so much stuff to tell you. And actually, despite the fact that the camera is jumping around, I'm actually really organized for this today, because safety is such a big topic for me. But I don't see it yet, Kelly, so hopefully you are going to join us. But yeah, it's true. It is real life, and I suppose that I should accept it's real life. My hair looked much better before from the other angle. You didn't see all my flyaways. How is it, guys? Is it okay? I got a haircut. You know when you're like going through that beginning stage? It's just really ridiculous. So yeah, welcome to real life. So here we go. I'm here. You can see me. I'm going to bring Kelly on camera to you. Let's see what happens. I'm very excited. It says it's adding Kelly, guys. Everybody say Kelly, 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 Kelly. There you go. Hi, Kelly. There you go. Kel, it's adding. Can anybody call you Kel, or is it just going to be me? We're going to chant Kelly, Kelly, Kelly. I don't see the chanting, guys. This was supposed to be a team event of chanting, that we have to send good mojo into. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Twiniversity. You have to send good mojo into the Facebook universe so that Kelly joins us. Could you guys hear me though? For the record, do I sound okay? It still says it's adding Kelly, and we will add Kelly. I'm going to tell you a little story about Kelly before she comes on. Kelly and I know each other for, I'm going to say, over 5 years. So over 5 years, the JPMA has had a big influence. Kelly, it said that there was no answer. We're chanting your name, Kelly. So we should really, this is something here. I'm going to try again. I'm going to click that little thing. I'm going to bring Kelly on camera. Imagine now if I mute Kelly. Kelly, I'm adding you again. Let's see if this happens. I do like the chiming in. So Kelly and I, there she goes.
Can you see me? Hello, everyone.
Finally.
Oh
my gosh. Kelly, I've never done this before. I've never added somebody in. We've usually done it through, but look, if I do that, guys, how does that look? We need to get like phone a friend and be like, how do we look? How is this? Now, Kelly, could you see the comments too that are coming up on the bottom?
I can, yes. Thank you very much. I think we're good to go now. And I,
You
like
look
you,
so
I'm propping
nice.
up my phone, doing a little makeshift thing on my desk here, but
Me
it's all
too.
good. So
I was trying
adjust
to
a
use
little
my
bit
little
till we get it right.
tripod, but it wasn't going on. I'm fascinated. So while we're doing this, I'm dying to see what this looks like. I can't wait because I'm like 5 years old and I have no patience. But I'm going to load it up on my Facebook page too, so then I can read all the comments in giant space. And I think I need to like have you there. And this reminds me a little Brady Bunch action. Does it look Brady Bunchy to you too? Or are you big and then I'm in the tiny screen?
I'm in a tiny screen and you're big.
That is the way that is. Okay, that's what happens. So now I can leave you there. I
Yep.
wish that we were the same size people. And I'm sorry that you're trapped in this little box. It's horrible to be up
It's
there.
all good.
But
It's
the
all
good
good.
news is you're very safe up there.
I'm
Which
very
brings us to our topic today. So Kelly, meet everybody. Say hello to the world.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for your patience as we sort out the technology.
Oh, there's always something. Isn't there always something? But like I believe it was Addie said just now, she was like, that's real life. That's what it is. I'm so glad that I have a blank wall in this area to let you live in. That's perfect. I could not have planned that better.
Couldn't have planned it better.
I love it. Well, Kelly, I was just telling them that I think, how long do we know each other? It's been a while.
It's been a long time now. Yeah, I think we had little kids when we got to know one another, and time flies.
It's pretty impressive. And from the time that we've known each other, you are now the executive director of the JPMA. And as you know, I've been a giant advocate of the JPMA. And for you guys that don't know, JPMA stands for Juvenile Products Manufacturers Association. Kelly, do me a favor. I want to hear like the formal stance. I can tell you the informal, as you know how I usually talk about the JPMA. But from your point of the view, what is the JPMA? Why should people care? Who belongs to it? And then we'll get into the whole baby safety month, because that is absolutely incredible about what you're doing. But let's talk about the JPMA first. So give us a little bit of background information on how you got there, what you do, and what the JPMA is.
Of course. So the easy answer is that the JPMA is the voice of quality and safety for baby products. We are a membership association, and we represent the manufacturers. So all the great brands that you know and love, we represent them in a variety of ways. We come together as an industry to develop best practices. We work on safety standards collectively. We advocate on behalf of our members in governments, and we really drive home the message of baby safety and make sure that there's a centralized source for baby safety messaging.
I don't think that people realize that I could develop a baby product and I could just get it on the market, right? That there is some checks and balances with certain products within the industry, but then it's a little bit of the Wild West with other products. And the JPMA is almost like keeping law and order amongst your members. And you're doing the checks and balances, and it does this pass certification. And there is an actual certification process, correct? And with the certification process, how do people get their product certified through you guys?
So we have product certification in over 25 different categories of products. So cribs and strollers and play yards, carriers. And what certification means is that the manufacturers send the product to be tested by a third-party testing lab. So they're not doing it themselves. They're sending it off, and they're testing it to a set of standards that include federal standards, state standards, some retailer requirements, and some just best practices for the safest products out there. And then we get those test results and verify that the products, before they go into the market, and then periodically when they're in the market, meet those safety requirements. And if they do that, they can put the certification logo on their product and on their packaging.
So the moral of the story is, when you're purchasing a product, whether it's for an infant or for a toddler, or you even have some products that are certified for the older children, but you should look for this JPMA logo. I actually had it that it was going to be embedded into our conversation today, but this has thrown me a loop. Do you have something there that you could show everybody, or Julie? I know Julie's behind the scenes too. If you could just throw in what the logo looks like for the JPMA, because sincerely, in my heart of hearts, I am telling you, when you are purchasing products, whether you're expecting through the school years, you should look for the JPMA certification, because it gives you the peace of mind knowing that that product not only met the standards to be sold within the United States, but met the standards of the Juvenile Products Manufacturers Association through that third-party testing. So to me, it really did matter. And you know what's funny, Kelly, too? There are some products that have it permanently on their product. Like I was looking at the contour stroller. Some of them have it on their box, but then others have a logo and they're like, you know what? Never forget that we got this certification and that we're so awesome. But it's overlooked so often. And I want people to really go look at the products in their home now that may already have that certification sticker and they don't even know.
Right. And you really made the great point in that what certification does is it tells you that it's tested and trusted. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of certified products. So if you start with looking for the certification seal, you're still going to have a ton of choice to pick fashion that you love and products that really work for your family. But you can be confident then that the product has been tested to the highest safety standards that are out there.
And it's that particular product. It's not the company, correct?
Correct. It's the particular product and model.
Yes, I love that. So this is why I have always felt better working with a JPMA and recommending JPMA products, because as somebody who knows that I have a little bit of influence over the items that people buy, I am super neurotic about safety. And heaven forbid I ever recommended, a product that didn't meet certain criteria, I would be a little bit anxious because I would never recommend something that I wouldn't want in my own home. So the JPMA has made it really a lot easier for me as an educator to say, okay, this product met certain specifications. I feel comfortable adding this to my Twiniversity curriculum. You guys are just the best. And people just don't realize it. And I know how hard you work, and I know how hard the organization works, but I do not think that the average Jill out there has any idea all that you do to make sure that children are and families are safe. It's really crazy, Kelly. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys every single day.
Well, thank you. And we appreciate you too, Nat. But you know what? We want to make it so that the average Jill and that all you great moms listening, that you don't have to think about it, that you don't have to be scratching your head and going, "Ooh, I like this one, but is it safe?" We want to make it easy for you. And that's really why we work so hard, so you don't have to.
Oh, that's the best. Now, you guys definitely put all of your eggs in your September basket. There's a lot of eggs in this. So this is Baby Safety Month. Yes. So it is a month long. It's not really, it's kind of a celebration, but it's definitely raising awareness for infant and child safety. Now, Kelly, I was going through my book today, and I had no idea how many pages I had on baby safety already. And I am thrilled to tell you it's a lot. I feel very good. So if you have this fantastic book that we really are big fans of, it starts on page 58, but we have always talked about baby proofing, and it's critical. And there are so many great things about Baby Safety Month, but what made you guys say, okay, we're going to do this, and here's what our goals are?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'd like to go back and thank you for all of the talk about safety that you do have in your book. It really is a fabulous, fabulous read, and highly recommended for anyone to pick it up and read it.
See, Kelly, but you're just saying that because you love me. So
no, like, I do love you, but I love you because you're so good at what you do. I mean, you really are a trusted resource, and we appreciate all that you do to just, again, help educate parents and, let them learn from your experience and the experience of others. So thanks for that. And definitely, the book is a great read. And I don't say that about everyone's books. So Baby Safety Month. So Baby Safety Month is a decades-old program that we really designed to, as you said, raise awareness about baby safety. And each year we select a theme that tries to keep it really current about what we're hearing going on in the marketplace and what parents and caregivers are confused about, or maybe if there's certain types of issues going on in the news or things that we hear about, that we can really use the month to raise awareness around those. So this year's Baby Safety Month theme is Choose and Use, and it's all about helping empower parents to choose the right products for their family and then use them appropriately every single time.
Oh, you are like speaking my language. I can't believe the amount of people that purchase a baby product and literally throw the manual in the garbage and are like, oh, it's part of the box. It doesn't matter. Please, let's talk about that. I love that this year's Baby Safety Month has like 3 key messages. And so we were going through them. I was going through them. And the good thing is your key messaging is my key messaging all year long. So we have always been aligned, whether you knew it or not. It's critical information. And in Twiniversity, I had a Twiniversity class last night, and my Twiniversity students know that I use this term deal breaker. And so in Twiniversity classes, I give people a lot of choices. And I'm like, hey, you could do this and you could do that. And here's a choice for you and a choice for you. But there are some topics that are deal breakers, which means there is no choice. This is just what you do, and you need to trust me and you need to listen. So the big deal breakers are, it's a little bit strange, but one deal breaker is have a will. It's something like you have to do. You have to do so many. I could take a million adults that, I know with kids in their teens, they don't have anything. That's the first deal breaker. The second deal breaker is about infant and child safety, that you have to take an infant CPR and a first aid course.
Oh, very important.
And the third deal breaker that is legendary is you have to baby proof before you even think you need to baby proof. So that is such a big topic for us. So your first kind of, big point of this year's Baby Safety Month is all about safeguarding 101 and making sure that your home is safe, and doing this before you think it's time. So what were the big points that you guys were like, we really have to make sure that people know?
Yep. So I love what you said about baby proofing before you even think you need to, because once you think you need to, it's too late. And then you tend to do it in somewhat of a haphazard way. So the things we recommend are to get down on your baby's level and make it fun. Crawl around and make sure that your husband or significant other, even other children in the home, make them all part of it, because different people will see different things that are potential hazards. And don't just look for doors that can be opened. Look at other things that might be laying on the floor. Remember, babies can crawl under dining room tables and beds in different areas. Really check all those things. Low-hanging cords, poisonous plants, anything that might be on the floor in that space that's at your baby's eye level. Try to get those things taken care of. The second thing is, remember that your baby is a permanent fixture in your home. It's a member of your family. He or she is living with you. They're not an invited guest. So try not to create spaces that baby can't go in. Sometimes it can't be avoided, but really baby proof every room in your home, because you want your baby to be available and access every room of your home.
Absolutely.
And the other thing, and I love this one because it's such an important tip in terms of development, particularly with items like gates. Parents sometimes wait until they feel like the child is at a developmental place where they're going to need the gate. But then the child's going to perceive it as inhibiting all this great advancement that they're making. If the gate becomes part of your life before the baby starts walking or exploring those areas around the steps, then you're used to it, your pets are used to it, and it's just a seamless part of your home, and your baby's not going to perceive it as something that's designed to hold them back, because we certainly don't want to give them that message.
Oh, well, first I want to just address I'm apparently blurry, but you're good. So they could hear me fine. I don't know why that's happening. I just try to switch it. So first of all, I want to give everybody a heads up that I do know that I am blurry, but I want to touch back on what Kelly just said about, doing things when, before it's time, and especially with the baby gates. We always recommend that when people are assembling their nursery for the first time, they baby proof right then. Because you got the drill out, you got everything out that you're going to need. So it's such a pain in the butt to go and charge the drill or to charge the screwdriver. Since you have your tools out and you're getting this room together, do it now. Especially, forget about the gates. Yes, you definitely need a gate, but the anchoring of the furniture. You assemble this furniture, you had it installed. You do not need a professional baby proofer. You can do this yourself. If you are uncomfortable doing this yourself, you can hire somebody. You could hire a baby planner, but it has to be done. It is not optional. When you're putting together your crib, it's like if you left the mattress out. That's how big of a mistake it would be to not baby proof in the very beginning. Whenever people need it, like Kelly said, it's too late. You know, don't buy the outlet plugs the first time that the kids are sticking things in the outlets. That's not the time to do it. And it's not only that, it's not that I want you to do this and I want to give you another job to do, but you aren't going to remember. For the first year of your twins' life, it is going to be so breastfeeding and, you know, or just bottle feeding or going outside, changing diapers. The last thing you want to think about is baby proofing during that first year, but it has to be done. So if grandma and grandpa are going to help you do these things, grandma and grandpa and your aunts and uncles also need to know this stuff has to get done now. It's got to be put on the baby to-do list. So Kelly, it's so important. I'm so glad that you brought that up because everybody does it after the fact. It's the worst time to do it. But clearly also I saw that some people say that they haven't baby proofed yet. Then you need to do it this weekend or you need to do it tomorrow. It's only too late if you don't start now. That is how
That's right.
proofing works. So if you haven't done it, I get it. We've all been there. I also will be one of the first to tell you, we didn't. My husband's sitting right next to me here. We've baby proofed some stuff, but then the babies got out of their little zone and we were like, uh-oh, you know, we didn't, the refrigerator was a big one for us. They loved as a team to open the refrigerator and then take everything out. Now, sure, that's aggravating unto itself, but they would also get their fingers caught because one twin, that's the problem with twins, right? We have to say there's a lot of benefits, but one twin could literally close the cabinet door or the refrigerator door on their other twin's hand. So you have to baby proof way before it's time because you are not raising a single child, which is already dangerous. You're raising a team that will act as a team. So that is why it is critical to baby proof in the beginning. You know, the other things about your key messaging that I really love that you also said was about baby proofing in all of the rooms. How do people baby proof in the bathroom?
It's really tough, but there are great products that allow the toilet lid to not be raised without a little latch, or products that will help secure the toilet tissue on the roll and keep it from kind of ending up everywhere and maybe being ingested. So again, lots and lots of great products. Also, just remembering to close that door to the restroom every single time, getting your family and particularly maybe older kids in the habit of closing the lid on the seat, closing the door to the restroom every single time that you use it. So part of baby proofing is even just behavior change, not necessarily all the devices that you use.
Now, there's also some like baby proofing hacks that I want to let you guys know about because some people are under the assumption that in order to baby proof, they have to buy these extraordinarily expensive products. That is not the case. You are still able to make your house super safe for your baby, spending a minimal amount of money. So I don't want anybody to be intimidated and be like, oh, well, we didn't do this because it was too expensive. You could literally take some duct tape and a washcloth and tape it to the top of every part of your door hinge, not the hinge, like the top of your door. And that will prevent your door from ever closing on somebody's fingers. True, that is not the best case scenario. They do make products to specifically prevent people getting from their little fingers crushed, but where there's a will, there's a way. And then also they do make specific items that are for your baby's safety, right? But like somebody just mentioned a pool. A pool is not one level of safety. There should be about 4 levels of safety on something that could cause catastrophic harm. So when you're looking at safety, don't look at it as one level, look at it as multiple levels and figure out a way how could we do this? And how could we do this on the budget that we need to do this? And if you guys can figure it out, just message us. And then if I can't figure it out, I'll get the message to Kelly and Kelly will help us figure it out together. But there is no situation that is impossible to have baby proofed. Now, Kelly.
That's right. And it's a great point. I'm so proud of all the parents making comments saying that they did it as they put the nursery together. And you raised a great point about the refrigerator. It's also an ongoing process that maybe your child manages to get into something that, or one of your twins, and as you said, working together as a team, that isn't a typical scenario, but for some reason they're really fixated on that particular thing. So as they grow and as they develop and as they become interested in new things, it's important to keep thinking about, how can I prevent the potential harm that could come from this, and tweak as you go along as well.
Absolutely. Now I have good news for the people that are watching right now. Kelly, you have not played with me on a Facebook Live before, and I hope you're enjoying your time so far, because our audience is pretty extraordinary. But it is a certain time, and they have to tell us what time it is. They'll know, so watch the comments, and we'll see, because I do have some of my all-time favorites in our Twiniversity live feed today. But guys, what time is it? You know what time it is. It is prize time. So Kelly has been very, very generous, and Kelly, along with the JPMA, has given us a few prizes that we're going to be giving out today. So Kelly, Julie is telling me, and by the way, that's how I know, Julie told us that it's our first time we're doing a $25 gift card. So how did you like, you know what, we're going to help you baby proof? That was so generous of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So in order to win this wonderful prize that's going to get you started on your baby proofing path or continuing your baby proofing path, just say, Kelly, they usually have to say like a magic word. Do you want to pick a magic word of the day? It's always tough.
Oh, a magic word of the day.
Come up with our next magic word. I'm just going to say, if you want to win this first gift card, all you have to say, it's baby safety time. Okay, so it's baby safety time. Just throw that in the comments, and then Julie is going to pick some winners, and we will announce the winners, which is very exciting. And also, if you have questions, you can just message them to us. You could send them in a direct message, or even put them in the comments below, and they will come to us, and we promise we will get to as many questions as possible. But yeah, it was very, very, very generous of you guys, and I love it, because you're giving people the opportunity to make their home safe, even if their budget doesn't allow. Now, with the products, right, there's plenty of like outlet plugs out there. Do you say, like, are there baby safety specific products that are JPMA certified, or is that like a little redundant?
So it's a great question. So baby safety, like baby proofing products in general, are not typically certified categories, but there's a lot of wonderful products that are made by great companies out there in the marketplace. But like everything you purchase for your baby, make sure that it's of good quality. Check it for loose parts or something that may not look quite right. If it's maybe a foam bumper, make sure that the foam is all intact and stays intact. Make sure that things continue to be secured properly. If there's a hinge or a spring, everything you use for your baby and for baby safety and baby proofing, needs to be inspected, and make sure that it just looks right to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that is one of the first one, is kind of safeguarding your home and making sure that you're baby proofed. And the next pillar of your baby safety month, which I think is really great, by the way, that you guys pick out specific things, because it makes it so much easier to digest your message of the year, right? So the next message that we have is all about the top 10 hazards in our home. And what's really interesting is that there was one of them that I didn't have to worry about when the kids were little, but that whole detergent pod thing. Kelly, I swear, this is a serious issue. Besides the moron kids eating them on purpose on YouTube, it really poses a problem to kids because it looks like a gummy. And I never really thought about that. So talk about some of your other, what are the other hidden hazards in our home?
Yes, there's a great list that we've developed. That one, and you're right, my daughter the pods came out after my daughter was a baby, so I didn't really have to deal with it. But you understand how something that seems very innocuous, and until you start hearing about it, you don't necessarily understand that, oh wow, this could be a hazard.
Yes.
And again, that's why forums like this are so great, because how do you find out this information? You find out from listening to people like Nat and just talking to your peers and learning what's going on out there that, you know, may not be part of the mainstream dialogue yet, because it's a newer hazard, but it's a very real one for sure.
Well, I'm curious, for the people that are watching us today, how old are your babies and where are you in the baby proofing process? So just throw that out there. I'm dying to know. I know Kelly's going to want to see the parents that are joining us today too. But there are the top 10 hazards, and I do want to go over them, because I feel like if you're going to go to the Baby Safety Zone website, which by the way you should, because there's a great little game that you could play, which I think that's a lot of fun. I love the one that the version of it that you bring to trade shows. I love that. But magnets. Magnets are a big issue, and people don't see them. You bought a magnet at the Grand Canyon when you were 15 years old, and it's been on your refrigerator ever since. It does pose a very big threat, because if children swallow this magnet, God forbid, and swallow another magnet, God forbid, they could attract to each other within your children. This is also a problem with pets. I know it's so interesting, but I learned this through pets, because we did have a dog that ate a magnet. So by the time my kids got here, that was already off. Yeah, the dog ate everything. Our previous dog, not this one that we have now, our old dog, literally pretty much, we needed to dog proof. She was more dramatic. But it's an issue that people don't think about. They're just like, oh, you know, I went to Cancun and I got this magnet. It really does. And especially because magnets look fun. They're usually bright, they're colorful, they're small. So please, if you do have magnets, make sure that they are at the tippy top of your refrigerator, or honestly, I would just take them off. And you know, another thing, a lot of people buy the ABC magnets. That's also magnets, guys. So it's just something to think about. You might want to consider, instead of the little ABC magnets that go on your refrigerator, get the ABC foam that go onto the bathtub wall. That's one way that you could bring in letter recognition and spelling and all that without having the magnets on your fridge. So that was a big issue. The next one, which sadly is true, is loose change.
Yeah.
Pennies. It's alarming. You would say, oh, my child would never eat a dime. You know what? The person who says that I'm not saying is the person that's going to have a child that eats a dime, but you never know. You never know what something looks like to a little child at a certain time. And now here's the other thing. Your kids love putting money in their piggy bank, right? They're like, oh, grandma gave me a quarter. Can I tell you, here's where twin proofing comes involved. Because now what's to stop that child from putting a nickel inside of their twin's mouth is their piggy bank. So loose change is a problem. And Kelly, it's funny because I know you probably never really thought about it with the twin spin, but we have to be like, that's why there's so many pages in my book. It's because it is a serious issue, because there's another child who doesn't know that could be doing something to this other child. So loose change is another one. Tip overs. Tip overs are huge. We have very sadly have had some catastrophic injuries within Twiniversity when it's come to tip overs. Because just like with the whole twinning situation with the coins, you don't have one child climbing up that dresser, you have two. And so if your dresser already couldn't handle the weight of one child, now I have to worry about two. So tip overs are super huge. And we're saying, look, we're getting comments right now about, there was somebody whose cousin had choked on a quarter. Nobody thinks these things are going to happen, but I'm going to tell you, they still happen. Totally still happen. You are not above it happening to you, but just prepare for it not to happen. Like really try to prevent it as much as possible. So now, Kelly, talk about the pot handles. So
pot handles is a great next one. Again, what we're identifying is hidden hazards, and these are all based on data where real accidents are occurring. So these are real risks, not just the desire to be extra diligent, but being extra diligent because bad things unfortunately do happen. So pot handles, you know, lots of us have been told, make sure when you're cooking and you have small children around to turn that pot holder
Yes.
towards the back of the stove so that someone walking by can't catch it. It's even a good idea when you have multiple adult family members. Certainly pot holders can catch as someone walks by. What people sometimes don't realize is you're holding that baby and you've got the baby on your hip and you need to stir the pot, need to stir dinner. You're multitasking, as all parents do. And the baby can easily reach down, grab the pot handle. Again, it's shiny, just like some of these other objects. It's shiny, it's pretty. Mom's engaged it with it, so it must be fun. Wow, stirring that thing looks interesting. Or with their feet and kicking it with their feet accidentally. And that can definitely cause the same type of accident with the pot spilling over. So not just turning them when the child's in the room, but making sure to be extra diligent when you're holding your child and cooking at the same time as well.
Yes, it really, it's something that, you know, we've had an issue in our home with that, with the pot hitting and then spilling. Thank goodness it all spilled towards the stove and didn't spill out. But it was so scary and not something that I really gave much thought to before. Now, there's one other one that I think is kind of a huge issue, and it's really the hot mugs. It's, you know, as I never drank coffee until I had twins. Do you know that? I never was a coffee And then all of a sudden I have these kids and I'm like, this is what everybody's talking about. I finally know. So hot mugs are really pose a very, very big hazard. So Kelly, what are some things that we could do instead of, you know, if we want to have that coffee, what are some ways that we could have that with making sure that we're super safe?
So, you know, great point. And so many of us are coffee, tea drinkers, particularly when we're raising our young children. You know, paper cups are a great option. The types of containers now, there's so many great things that we can all purchase to carry our drinks around with us now. So there's lots of options that really keep the heat or the cold inside for you. And they have a lid, and that lid doesn't pop off easily. So if, you know, it just takes a minute for your baby to grab at something or even shift its weight and you lose your balance and, you know, then the cup goes down. So, you know, keeping it covered is a great tip. Keeping it in a container that keeps the heat inside is certainly a great tip as well. And be careful when you're at Starbucks or your favorite coffee shop. I mean, again, so often, and I even, you know, confess I found myself in that situation too, where I had, you know, my child on my hip and gotten a Starbucks, and, you know, you think it's okay because you have a lid, and it just takes, you know, one little wiggle and it can really be a big disaster. So
and
always
you know,
being mindful of
what
your
else,
hot
Kelly,
drink.
too? People take them with their strollers. So people take a hot beverage and they're putting it in, you know, the cup holder of your stroller. Now, here's my 2 tips would be, my 3 tips is, number 1, if you're going to do that, have a screw top lid, not just a pop on. So then if something did spill out, it's going to spill out minimally, which could still really hurt the kid, but it's not going to cause, you know, ridiculous burns that we have to go to the hospital. It's still not the best case. The next thing is if you are drinking out of an open mug, drink out of a small mug. They make mugs now that hold 24 ounces of fluid. I don't actually know if that's true. This one's got, like, literally this one that I'm drinking out of now. This is the size of my head, and this is the size of this mug. My kids are big now. I could use this. But in your home, always think about, like, you know, in your grandmother's house, she had tiny little, you know, teacups.
Right.
Try to just drink out of small things. So if something spilled, then there's not going to be that much fluid. But really, ultimately, don't drink hot stuff around the babies. Switch to iced coffee, switch to iced tea. You cannot go wrong with that, because even if you spill the hot tea, I mean, the cold tea, yes, I do have to worry about the ice choking hazard, Kelly, I do know, but it's less of a problem with a burn. But it's, you know, the mugs are so big and people just, they're not thinking. And Kelly, you know, another big point that you guys have is about recalled products. How do we find out if products are recalled, and what do we do?
So you should check frequently about recalled products. The easiest way to do it is go to the Consumer Product Safety Commission website, cpsc.gov, and you can actually register and get notices when different types of products are recalled. Also, always, always, always register your products with the manufacturer, because then the manufacturer will notice you, will send you a notice if there's a recall on your product. And lots of parents don't want to register their products because they feel like they're then going to be inundated with marketing messages. So companies cannot use that information from your registration card to market to you. The only thing they can use it for is to let you know if the product has been recalled. So you can be super confident in registering those products. And if you move, which lots of times we have young families and we're transient, and we move, make sure to update your product registrations as well. So register your products, and then make sure you go online. And there's a lot of sites, Baby Safety Zone, links to it as well, many others. But you can also just go directly to CPSC and receive notices of recalled products through them as well. And check back frequently, because often a recall is issued. Maybe you've been using a product for a while and then suddenly there's a recall. The other thing is, really make sure to read the recall notice if there is a recall. A recall doesn't always mean, throw away the product and stop using it. Sometimes it's to add a warning, or to maybe there's a replacement part that's just safer than what's currently on there. So if you happen to have a recall on your product, be really diligent in reading it, understanding what the hazard is, and always do what the recall notice tells you to do.
Yep. Sometimes it's a minimal fix that you could do. It's not overwhelming, and recalls are in a variety of degrees. So like Kelly said, don't assume that you got to throw it out immediately. Really figure out what the recall is and figure out where you go from there. But that's people, I'm always shocked that people don't check. You have to register, so you get that information first. And if you're not going to register because you're worried about this, that, or the other thing, you have to check. It's your responsibility as a parent to make sure that you're checking that you're using safe products for your puppies, right? It's so, so important. I don't know if you would hear the thunder. We're having a big storm outside right now. Do you hear that? It's gone crazy, Kelly.
No, I don't.
Huge thunder. Someone just screamed. It's very dramatic outside, but it's just thunder.
Crazy weather.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Now, your last message of this particular Baby Safety Month is that to keep babies safe, you have to select juvenile products and use them correctly. Here's my favorite part: each and every time. What made you guys choose that?
So this is really, really fascinating, and it's been a bit of an evolution. But what we found is there have been so many advances in products if you go back 20, 30 years. And products are safer than ever. There's more selection. There are so many great things on the marketplace that really help parenting be easier and let you be on the go with your child and live the life you want to have with your child. So products are really a wonderful thing, and safety is at an all-time high, which is fabulous for all of us. But you're really a partner with your products, and the product can't do everything. So what we're finding now is a lot of the reduction in accidents that are happening is really about the use of products. So for instance, and this statistic, and I'm not one to throw out a ton of statistics, but this one, like, just every single time I hear it. So over 8,000 children a day are treated at hospitals related to falls.
Wow.
8,000 kids a day, that's so many, right? And that's just not acceptable, because the vast majority of those falls can be prevented. And when you're talking about babies, a lot of it is as simple as snapping that belt on your high chair, on your changing pad, in your stroller. And the product is built that way. The belt is installed. It's required by law to be there in most cases. The instructions tell you to use it. There's a big warning on your product that tells you to use it.
They're on the strap.
Many parents still don't use it.
It's literally on the strap. You could see it no matter where you go. It's unbelievable.
So we really wanted to drive home this message of choosing and using. And the two key elements are that, right? We just talked about using. Use the product the way that the instruction manual tells you to use the product, and do it every single time.
Yeah.
Prior to that, you need to choose the right products for your family. And that has a lot to do with the size of your child, the mobility of your child, the developmental phase of your child. As many people know, the products you start out with when you have infants will be a little different as your child develops and grows, and they may need to change to a larger car seat, change to a different stroller. Lots of us, wait and move to an umbrella type stroller when we're really, going to the park all the time and much more mobile. So make sure that the products that you choose or that you're choosing among are those that are appropriate for the height, the weight of your child, and their developmental milestones. And
It is
use
true.
them properly every single time.
Every single time. So many people buy something that fits. Can this fit in my house? They are not thinking about, when do I change that, right? So people buy bouncy seats. So they'll buy bouncy seats and they'll buy a particular bouncy seat, never realizing that it has a weight limit. It totally has a weight limit and can only hold a baby of a certain size. And sometimes they'll see a product that, they'll like, oh my gosh, that's so expensive. But if you look at that product, you may realize that it holds twice the amount of weight than the product that was half the price. So you can be super smart about this. As like Kelly said, you have to read the books. You have to read the manual. Even if somebody else is putting something together for you, or even if you hire, a car seat safety tech to install your car seat, you are still responsible for reading all of that information. You cannot pay somebody to know things. Like, right, they may know them. They know the rules of that car seat because they've then sold 1,000 of them. You don't. This is the first time you're using it. This is the first time you're using that stroller. This is the first time you're using that swing. You have to read all of that. And I know it's overwhelming. And there is no cheat sheet. There is no cheat sheet for safety when it comes to your babies. You have to do it correctly. So if you don't feel like reading it, give it to your partner. Let your partner read it. Divide and conquer and say, okay, what are the rules of this? People, write child milestones down, but they're not really finding out when do they switch to a convertible car seat. Kelly, what I was shocked about? When we switched from an infant to a convertible car seat, we just did it on our own. And my doctor never needed to tell us. I had always assumed that my pediatrician would have gotten involved because they're weighing your kids and being like, oh, you know what? This child is now, 30 pounds and will have to move to this type of car seat. Doctors apparently don't do that. You are the one that's responsible for that, not your pediatrician, which is why it's critical that you know all the rules and regulations and requirements and best practices of any products that are in your house. So, yeah.
And you made a great point about pediatricians and guidelines. And lots of times people will use age as a shorthand. When they're 2, do this, or when they're 3, do this, or think about that. But really, those guidelines are based on an average 2 or 3-year-old. And, who do we know whose child or children are average and fit right in that band? So we're seeing more of a shift to using height and weight as the guidelines rather than just age. And every manufacturer is a little different as well. This is not standardized. So you need to pay attention to the height and weight of your own child, what general guidelines might recommend in terms of when to graduate to the next level of product, but then always check your own particular product and its instructions as to the appropriate height and weight use for it, because they do vary greatly, and that information is always in your manual.
Absolutely. And if anybody else is responsible for making these changes for you, so let's say you're going to go back to work and your mom is going to stay with the twins, or you're going to go back to work and your partner is, whoever is the primary person with the baby also needs to know all the rules and regulations of that product since they're using it all of the time. And when you do have a babysitter come over to take care of the kids, make sure that you're walking them through the process of which you want the high chair used, of which you want the car seat used. Never assume that adults just know how to do these things. We don't. You don't. Things change. Things have evolved so much in the past 13 years that even the way that a product looks, although it's the same, have become so much more technologically advanced, and just they've actually gotten a little easier in some regards. But never assume that who's ever alone with the babies is going to know how to do the things that you do.
And you make a great point about grandparents. Certainly, grandparents are such a tremendous help, but because of the evolution, oftentimes it's grandparents who, your own mom or your in-laws who say, well, I always did it this way, or, when I was raising you, we did it that way. And we've learned so much. And, one of the phrases we hear a lot is, well, we always did it that way and we survived, or you survived. And we're so glad you survived. But accidents have gone down. Injuries have gone down. Very catastrophic events have gone down. And that's because of the safety of the product and that
Mhm.
parents are so much more educated in how to use them properly. So, even if it's a tough conversation, yes, your babysitter, but particularly, your parents, or maybe, even siblings or other friends whose
Yep,
children, like you and I, Nat, whose kids are a little older. Even in just these
absolutely.
13 years, it's evolved so much. Really keep yourself up to date with what's going on with the products you need to use for that baby at that time.
I love that you guys do this. I love that you eat, breathe, and sleep safety anyway. But I do love that every September well, first of all, you guys do so much homework for me because you give me new talking points on safety. So that I really love. But it brings it to the forefront every single year. And it really should be at the forefront every single day. And the baby safety zone is not a September thing. The baby
Right.
safety zone is an annual website
Every day.
that you could
Yes.
visit. There's a Facebook page. You guys are on all the social platforms. And then of course I mean, I think people need to see it. We link to you guys when we talk about classes, but if you have never heard of the JPMA, or you've never heard of Baby Safety Zone or Baby Safety Month, please do your homework. And
Mhm.
even if you think you know everything, I'm telling you, you don't. There's always something new to learn. There's always some new experience that may occur tomorrow. Try to get ahead of it. Try to get ahead of the safety, try to get ahead of the planning, and really just be safe, guys. I get so nervous, Kelly. It's so
Mhm.
much. These twinnies are so much.
It's so much. And never think that there's a silly question, or never hesitate to ask. I mean, parenting's really tough, and parenting of twins is more than doubly tough. And, we love talking to parents. You do, Nat, we do. Reach out on Facebook, ask a question, send a message. And, it's not a silly question. Chances are someone else has bumped into it. If we haven't and it's something new, we'll find an answer for you. So, never sacrifice safety because you just feel uncomfortable asking a question. Like, this is what we love to do, is
Yeah.
helping parents make parenting easier.
Now, if they do, like you said, you have, there's no silly questions, we can message you. What else
Yeah.
do you recommend that people do so that they could find more information about Kelly and her wonderful Baby Safety Month? Because that's what I'm just going to call it.
Well, thank you. Again, Baby Safety Zone is a great resource for doing that. JPMA.org, our main site. We put lots and lots of information for parents on there as well. And we're actually working on putting more information. We're hearing more and more from parents directly who really just have a variety of questions and want to know about product use. So throughout the year, Baby Safety Zone's active. JPMA.org is active. I mean, I myself get fielded a lot of the questions. We have great people on our team who are really, really up to date on product standards. We can reach out to the manufacturer on your behalf as well if you have a question about a specific product. Happy to do it. So you can find us online. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and certainly through our website. So,
Now, Kelly,
feel free to follow us.
when there are recalls, how do you guys get the word out?
So we post information about recalls as they come up. Certainly, like many other sites do. We also, again, we link straight to that CPSC website so that we get it like the minute it's announced. We have that most current information. So through our site, you can link straight there as well.
So there'll be tweets as well. And do you have, could we subscribe to an email to get email blasts about recalls?
Absolutely. At babysafetyzone.org, you can go in there and sign up and then get specific information about all kinds of safety topics.
Now, a great thing that you could do, our viewers out there in Never Never Land, this is not information that you need to keep to yourself. If you know somebody that has young children, you know somebody that's expecting, you really need to introduce them, whether they're having a singleton, triplets, quins, quads, triplets, twins, it doesn't matter. I didn't say twins the first time, I said triplets twice. Don't have two sets of triplets. That probably would be tough on you. But they need to know about this too. This is information generally, and also share the information with your parents if your parents are helping you, your aunts if your aunts are helping you. Everybody should be subscribed to that email list so that if there was a recall and you missed it because you didn't check your email that day or you didn't check Twitter that day, they could get that information and then give it to you. So this is an entire village, right? It takes a village. This is a situation where the village has to get involved, and the number one issue really should be baby safety. So Kelly, thank you so much. Honestly,
Thank you.
from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry I missed you this year. It has been an interesting year, but I will see you soon. The JPMA is going to have another event down in Orlando. Me and the Twiniversity team will be there. I can't wait. I already have my hotel and air booked. Like, no joke.
Love it. Great. So
Well,
that'll be a
I'm very
great event,
particular.
and consumers are invited. So if anyone here is going to be in Orlando next spring in April, we'll have information on our sites about that as well. We'd love to have you. And it's great to be with you, Nat, as always, and talk. And thanks to everybody that tuned in and you know, for acknowledging that this is really important information. So I'm so appreciative to be involved today, and great to talk to you.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I really, really do. And thanks so much for the patience of the crazy insanity of the Zoom. But I'm glad that I had that little call waiting for you in your tiny little box. I'm pretty sure that I have been frozen throughout the feed, but they saw you and we got the information. And that's really all that we want people to.
That's the important part.
That they're safe. So Kelly, we will find you online. Thank you again.
Perfect.
We have 18 billion links below. Your team and my team have been on it. They have been on it. They've done so well. So we will see you online.
Love it.
And thanks so much again for